This is a DZ 143. 1 1/4 amp, 2 amp peak, has 4 FX3 functions up to a 1/2 an amp. The 4 FX3 functions are light functions. So you have the normal, forward light, reverse light, a third light that I'm going to use on some of these, a flashing strobe, because on these GPs they're going to have flashing strobes on them. My RS3 that I have a flashing strobe. And then you can have a 4th function, could be ditch lights, could be whatever. I like them because they're tiny. They're made for Z scale, but they're really, really slim. You can see here, if I put that in here, now the other way to mount it would be crossways, and you can see that it will fit up in the shell, but it will fit in there if we push on it a little bit. So thickness wise, get the calipers out, you're talking about 160 thou, so about 3/16 would get you there. So I would need to carve out about 1/8 of an inch all the way across that. Okay, but for right now I would just clean this up, get it all shiny. Jason Rice was suggesting leaving this all assembled and using toothpaste on here. I don't know, so the toothpaste idea, good idea, it's a good degreaser. I would go ahead and pull the coupler, just so I'm not getting stuff down in there and gunking it all up. And, because you're going to rinse it out and dry it out, but maybe you don't have to. It's pretty isolated. So yeah, throw your toothpaste on there. I would myself, I'm just going to run it over by my hand, get all the gear tower lube and dirt and gunk and little worn pieces of plastic. You can see that I can scrape that away with my fingernail, so there's a bit of gunk on there. But you can also disassemble this further. Hang on, we'll pull it apart for you. I'm going to get a little smaller screwdriver. So I've got a tiny, tiny screwdriver with some glue stuck to it. Okay, so for this part back here, leave that because it's got a peg in the middle that's holding it on. So here, I'm going to spread that ear, push it down, spread that ear, push it down. That part drops away. Okay. The top part comes off just like that. Now you've got the little gear tower, and I've just lost my little gear. No, I didn't lose it. It's right there. So I could disassemble this like this. I can also inspect this gear right now to see with my magnifier. Sometimes there's little hairs wound up in there, or it may not be able to give it a good clean, but right now I could clean this pretty darn good. You do want to make sure that you don't lose, clean so good and be cleaning and those come out of there. I'm testing them with the toothpick to see if I can push them out, maybe with a toothbrush or whatever, but no, they're a fairly firm fit. And they may be tapered and may only go one way. Because I don't have the manual, you just have to kind of probe around and be a little gentle and get it apart. But now this is apart. If I had wheel sets that had smaller flanges, and if I wanted to replace this with a metal wheel set, I could do that at this time. This is where the pickups are. This truck picks up right in here. Right there's the little phosphor bronze piece, I should say, that rubs against the face of the wheel. Okay, and so you don't want to bend that. If you look at the wheel set, you can see that even though they have the same profile, there's a black insulator on this side. That's the side that the pickup goes on. Okay, so you make sure that that stays to the same side. So let me give this a little bit of a cleaning, and we'll come back and put it all back together. I'm kind of probing. This will come out of here. I don't want to pull it out of there, but I'm just going to clean that up, clean my axles up, clean the gear tower up, clean this little gear up, lube everything, wipe it all down, get it all nice and clean, and then we'll be back. Okay, some of you may not approve of this, but I've got some WD-40 that I'm going to clean with. I'm going to set everything else out of the way, just in case I make a mess. Oh, Tony, make a mess? Oh, that's inconceivable. I don't think that means what you think it means. And if you get that reference, send me an email at tonywryan@hotmail.com. Alright, let's start with something simple. I am pretty sure that WD-40 will not hurt this nylon, mainly because I've used it before, and if you go to the WD website, they are pretty, they explain that it's pretty benign to most plastics. Now, for cleaning, I don't have an old toothbrush. I have one out here somewhere, but I can't find it. But I have these other this is a little nylon bristle brush. Okay, I'm doing this on a piece of paper towel, so you can see what rolls off of here. Okay, I'm going to give it a little spritzy rinse. Dab it off with the paper towel and get that all dried up. Doing all this, you know, check the gauge on the things. Check for bent wheel flanges. Anything else you can think of. Get it all sparkly clean. And we're going to put it back together. Okay, I'm keeping all my stuff up there in the box. The other little brush that probably will work good is a little flux brush. Acid brush, sometimes they're called. You can get in there. It's not quite as stiff, but you can get in there and brush away stuff. You know, and I have a set of little brass brushes as well. I don't know that you can see all that, but you can definitely see that it is coming cleaner. It's got a bunch of gunk on it. Okay, so now I didn't show you how this ran before, but it did run. It was kind of spotty, and I suspect that's because of pickup issues and a little bit of gunk in the gear train, and the brushes are a little gunky. But we'll get that all spiffified. Okay, and I do want to warn you, you know, you're working with degreasers and oils and that sort of stuff. Before we go putting the shell back on, go in, wash your hands, or have a set of, you know, Windex wipes or something like that. Those work great. They're a little, you can use them out of the little container. I have some, what is it, Fast Orange hand cleaner. That works good for getting all the oil off your hands, so that you're not mucking stuff up, using big old greasy fingerprints. Okay, this is the truck frame. I'm still going to just shoot it with that, and because it's phosphor bronze, I am going to go with my little softer brush. And watch that little wiper. You see there's only one little wiper in there for this guy. So he's only picking up from those two wheels. Screwdriver in there. So you can see him right there. That's your little pickup right there. Give it a quick rinse. The other thing you could do is use contact cleaner. Not contact for your eyes, but electrical contact cleaner. That'll work good. Now this part I will probably take in and rinse to get rid of the oil that I just put all over it, because I don't want it all shiny, greasy looking. And then let that air dry real good. And like I said, clean this up, but don't bend that stuff. Little gear tower and little gear. Okay. So again, squirt that, brush that puppy down with the brush, get him all sparkly shiny. Now, since I've removed the gear, it makes it a little hard to rotate those gears to make sure that they're getting clean in there. But once I get this guy clean, if I don't shoot him off into outer space, and look for little burrs and flash and stuff that may need to come off of there. Okay, and now I've got that clean. And put him back in there. And use him to rotate the other little gears, and they look pretty okay. Don't feel bad rotating around there. Awesome. Pull the other one apart. I'm going to put this one back together, do one at a time, so I don't get the parts mixed up. Then we'll work on the frame. Be right back. Just puts this down with a little bit of, this is like a simple green product that I have mixed up in a spray bottle. So now what I'm going to do, make sure I get the insulated side back where it came from. You can see, maybe you can see that, there's a black insulator on that side. And on the other side, it's just pushed right onto the axle. So the insulated side goes towards the little pickup. Slide him down in there. Now this last one, he's just an idler. Doesn't really matter which way he goes. Okay, so now this end went into this little pocket. It just snaps back in place. Okay, and my little gear, it keeps popping out because I don't have that little shaft that was captured in there. But that's one clean one. Well, I made it almost all the way, and now I've done it. I've knocked a little coupler right here out of its little coupler pocket. Now this is not that hard to put back together, but I may need a tweezer or two. And it's about this point that I start looking for my little visor with my magnification on it. Because oh, there's a lot of tiny parts. Alright.